As a little girl growing up, family members described her as artistic and athletic, high-spirited and smart. She was someone who picked things up easily and could have done anything she wanted to. But something changed that altered the path her life would take.
I feel very sorry for her she's broken. She's so broken. That's what hurts me.
That's the step-grandmother of the Patchogue girl who was allegedly trafficked for sex and traded for drugs. Her 25-day disappearance and rescue made headlines. 23 people in New York and Minnesota have been charged in connection with what happened to her. We're not naming the girl because she's a minor and the victim of sex crimes. At a time when most teenagers are shopping at the mall, juggling middle school, and experiencing first crushes, this now 15-year-old already knows the rush of crack cocaine and the trauma of allegedly being raped by men older than her father. Newsday reviewed hundreds of pages of documents related to the teen's case and also interviewed dozens of people. Her parents, Melissa Dervay and Frank Gervasi, divorced when she was 4. Gervasi runs an auto detailing business out of his father's auto body shop in Setauket. When his daughter disappeared, he launched a social media campaign all about his search for her.
We love you very much. We miss you, and we want you to come home.
People following the story noticed Gervasi and his new wife, the girl's stepmother, were also active on Pornhub, promoting live sex shows and posting amateur sex videos. Some of those videos were recorded in the home where they all live. A former classmate of the girl says the girl showed one of her dad's sex videos to her friends. We tried to talk to her dad several times, but he wouldn't answer questions.
I don't want to talk to anybody right now. I told you that.
Dervay is a teacher's assistant in Dix Hills. She wouldn't talk to us. Outside her Melville home, though, the teen's maternal grandmother, Karen Dervay, did speak briefly.
We're not public. We're very private. We don't want to go public.
At a young age, you're already vulnerable. You're vulnerable because of your age, period.
Farida Castillo works with victims of sex trafficking.
So I think we, as a society, over-sexualize, hypersexualize young children, and then they are younger and younger and younger being exposed to it. When you normalize sexual behavior in the way that anyone who probably is seeing it at home would, that makes you more susceptible to someone taking advantage of you.
When the girl was just 12 years old, 19-year-old Brandon Keyser was charged with statutory rape. He admitted to having sex with her at a Holtzville movie theater. In an email to Newsday, he claims Gervasi knew my age since day one. He told me his daughter was 2 years younger than me. When she was 13, police found her in a Medford motel with this man, 42-year-old Danny St. Louis, known as Ace, on the street. Prosecutors allege he introduced her to crack cocaine. He's accused of raping her, and he's also facing separate sex trafficking charges involving other alleged victims. 2 weeks later, police found her in another motel room rented for her by St. Louis after she ran away from a drug treatment center in Brentwood.
So this is a statement that the girl gave to police on October 9th, 2023, after they found her right here at the Bayshore Inn. She says in here that Ace brought her crack cocaine to smoke several times while she was here. And she also says that she later learns that Ace is Danny St. Louis.
A few months later, in February 2024, she was certified by New York State as a trafficked person, which meant she was entitled to certain services like tutoring and therapy.
Based on what we've found, it appears that the systems in place to help a troubled girl like this didn't work.
Newsday reached out to Child Protective Services about the girl's case. CPS records are not public, and officials there refused to comment on the case. Because of her love of horses, her father pushed for equine therapy at this Rocky Point horse farm.
Hi, is this Stephanie?
We spoke by phone with horse farm owner Stephanie Biondi.
She was brought to me by a referral. I worked with her. She came to the barn for a short amount of time, and that was really about it. Anything past that, I can't describe for you.
We found out after that call there were reports the girl was given drugs and alcohol at the horse farm and that men over 20 years old were hanging out with her. We tried Stephanie again, but didn't get a call back.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Because of what's been described as a lack of follow-through from the girl's father, some of her therapies stopped less than 2 weeks before she disappeared from her Patchogue home on December 9th, 2024, and the highly publicized search for her began.
A lot of people ask me about background, and there's a little bit of confusion about that, and I really don't want to get into it too much, but she's a beautiful, smart little girl that's had some trouble throughout her life, a lot of trauma that she's hurting from inside.
In the more than 3 weeks the teen was missing, she was never more than 25 miles from her home, being kept in places from Bellport to Bohemia to Copenhagen and Islip. According to court documents, some of the defendants offered her drugs for sex, others allegedly traded her in exchange for drugs and money.
It is unusual in the sense of the scale of it. I think it's a more extreme example of things that go on, but it's not the only case of like this. It's not the only time that this is happening either in this county or other counties.
Experts say it happens in hotels, motels, private homes, and online. They admit it's just as easy to buy sex as it is to order a pizza.
Within 5 miles of where we sit right now, I can guarantee you someone's being trafficked. The victims could be any age, race, or gender, really. And even if you do come from a good background, every kid is impressionable and everyone's looking for attention, So I think that's where, it could come into play, really, from any family, can be at risk.
I just want to put this video out there because the more videos I post on her, the more exposure she gets.
Gervasi's flurry of Facebook updates during the search for his daughter seemed to take on a life of their own among those who were involved in and following the search.
Do you have the girl and the father there as well? I got a call that she was going to be there.
That wasn't here on the phone.
January 3rd, 2025, the search came to an end in Islip when the girl was found on this yacht by her father. He repeatedly declined to be interviewed by us, but did give an interview to Dr. Phil 5 days after his daughter was discovered.
You have no doubt in your mind that your daughter was the victim of sex trafficking. Is that true?
That's 100% correct.
With the girl found and in treatment, prosecutors are pushing forward with charges of kidnapping, rape, and sex trafficking. 3 men charged on Long Island are facing the possibility of life in prison. But attorneys for some of the suspects claim the girl said she was over 18.
She was there on her own voluntarily, and that's our position.
Even though she's 14 and unable to consent.
Well, there's a difference between consent and voluntariness. And she stayed on that boat. She didn't run. She didn't call for help.
In court, though, prosecutors argued the defendants capitalized on the vulnerabilities of a 14-year-old child for their own personal gain. For Newsday TV, I'm Shari Einhorn.